Hey guys, what's going on? Paul here. Welcome back to another Cardano video. Today I'm joined by Zach from World Mobile to find out what the latest is on the rollout, where they are, where they're going, and more specifically as well on the tokenomics, how things are going. They have launched on an exchange now for anyone who hasn't heard, and we'll find out how all of that is going. Also, I did feel I had to wear my Fulham jersey today with the World Mobile logo for this. And full transparency, I bought in for an Earth Node and I'm holding them, hoping Zach can give me some light on when I can spin up my Earth Node as well. Zach, very welcome. Thanks for taking the time to join us.
It's my pleasure. Always happy to chat with you, Paul. Glad to hear that you participated and bought a node. You obviously run a Cardano node and you know what you're doing, so to make things a lot easier. And it's always cool hearing people, influencers, or just people that I meet or that I generally talk to throughout the community who tell me that they bought a node because they want to be a part of the network. And these are people that don't necessarily have any experience running a node. They're just people who really like World Mobile, want to get involved in what we're doing, join the sharing economy and help secure the network and spread the good word of World Mobile.
Yeah, I know there's lots of people within my community as well that have bought enough of tokens to run a node, and they're kind of giving me the nudge, like, when nodes are ready, you'll do the tutorial video on how to do it as well and how to set them up. So I'll get all that when we come to it. But actually, just for anyone who hasn't heard you, seen you in the groups or anything before, can you tell us where you sit or how you got involved in this?
So how I first got involved is I know Charles Barnett since birth. So his father is my father's best friend, and myself and Charles are born a couple of weeks apart. So I was born in England and grew up there, and I moved to Australia when I was about 8. So we've always kept in touch, and they've been in telco for a very, very long time. They're very experienced in telco, and Charles kept telling me about his telco project that he's working on, and I was like, yeah, telco, whatever. Because, at first you think Vodafone, Orange, Telstra, Optus, whoever. And he called me the one day and he's like, oh, just at an airport in Africa. And I was like, what do you mean you're at an airport in Africa? What are you doing? And he goes, oh, the telco thing I've been telling you about. And I was like, okay. And he's like, you like crypto? And I was like, yeah, I like crypto. And he's like, well, finally, after 4 years or 3 years of me pestering you, listen to what we're doing. And he told me about it. And I was like, oh, this just sounds a little bit too good to be true. So he was telling me, and he showed me some videos and some photos of what he was doing while he was over there. And I was like, okay, you've got my attention. And so after that, it was just like I was like a sponge. I just absorbed as much information and learned as much about it as I could, because for me, this was like bringing the analog world into the digital world. This is creating real life use case for blockchain technology outside of store of value or outside of medium of exchange. This is about improving the lives of so many people using this technology, and I'm a huge fan of blockchain. So the more I learned, the more I wanted to get involved. And then I just said to him, I was like, I want in. I was like, you just tell me what I can do. And so I spent a few months just researching and learning, and I learned under Alan about the new technology side of things, and spoke to Mickey a lot about the telecommunication sides of things with Alan. Spoke to Antonio, the CTO, and familiarized myself with the whole project and sort of fell in love with it.
Yeah, I suppose it's along the lines of why I'm in Cardano as well, is long-term, the utility, real-world utility that they're trying to bring. And so World Mobile for me was a great add-on to that. Chains that are looking for long-term utility are the ones that will be successful long-term. So that's where I try to put a lot of my focus and time. So on that, how are things going with network rollout now? Are there people actually using the World Mobile network, or where is it?
There are people currently using the network. So by January, we're expected to have 30 sites live. And in approximately March, around 120 sites, and we're going to be using a mesh network there. And I'm sure you guys have seen some of our videos of the aerostats. So we're finalizing the payload over in California with our team there, and then we're going to ship them into Zanzibar, I think in July, for a rollout of several aerostats.
And that's
And
the big
delivering
balloon, the video you
yeah,
had,
yeah,
wasn't it? Yeah.
blimp,
Nice.
Zeppelin, balloon things. And I've seen like a lot of people, and they're like, "Oh, but aren't they just going to fly?" I've even had my friends and my parents be like, "Oh, isn't that just going to blow away in the wind?" So just to clarify, everyone, they're tethered to the ground. They're not just going to float off into space. We are doing some cool stuff in space, working with a well-known satellite provider to roll out in West Africa. So yeah,
Nice.
a lot of exciting stuff going on.
Yeah, that's something I see. You use a lot of different technology. Some I didn't realize Africa had so much of a network already there in the ground that isn't utilized. So you use
Yeah.
parts of that. You use lots of different tech there.
Yeah, so like it's a hybrid network, you know. So it's not about using one means of infrastructure to distribute the network. It's using all different technologies depending on the topography, the layout, the payload delivery, the requirements, and how we can use existing technologies to deliver that connectivity. So you know, it's like, I hate to say the same word over and over, but it is really a hybrid network. We can use so many different technologies and amalgamate them together and create so many different means of connectivity to improve the lives of so many people. The air nodes obviously will be in the rural areas, but they aren't just going to be in rural areas. I mean, you saw in the videos we're doing a lot of stuff in Stone Town in Zanzibar, and that is quite a densely populated area. So we will be connecting thousands and thousands of people. And along with the aerostats, I don't think people quite realize how many people we are going to be connecting or how important this is for the network. There are going to be hundreds and hundreds of thousands, if not millions and millions of people connected to the World Mobile Network.
Yeah, that's a question I get a lot is how many are there now? What are we looking at 2022? Is this big connection going to be out to 2025, or are we going to see a big growth in the numbers connected in 2022?
No, you will see a large number of people connected in 2022. I don't want to reveal the statistics right now, but yeah, 2022 is looking to be a very, very exciting year for World Mobile and onboarding customers.
Nice. I'm sure I'll be checking in with yourself and maybe even have Mickey back on at some stage as well to discuss it all throughout the year.
Yeah.
Maybe get a group call with Ollie. I've had different people on at different stages, so it'd be good to get regular updates maybe on how things are going.
Yep. Yeah, so, definitely. I'm sure they would love to join. But yeah, I'm sort of transitioning into head of token, which is why we're here. I can talk about the token and the utility and all that kind of stuff.
That's where I was just going to go. So you guys have launched on exchanges, which was really welcome from the community. Lots of people were waiting to see how that would go. So now just on that, what is the utility of the WM? So WMT is the token for World Mobile. What does it actually do, or what's it used for?
Okay, so this is something that I get asked a lot as well. And so the token is used to operate the infrastructure, and this is allowing people to provide a service on the network and be rewarded accordingly for it. So the primary role of World Mobile Token is to incentivize both token holders to support the operation of the network by way of delegating their World Mobile tokens and staking them to a node operator, or as people know it as being a staker, and as well as to incentivize node operators to operate their own nodes. So World Mobile Token is the utility token at the heart of the World Mobile chain. Every time someone uses the network, the token comes into play. This includes making calls, text, streaming, content, browsing the internet. You and I sitting here doing a video interview, it's generating data. That data then gets sent to nodes, gets written on chain, generating transactions. Node operators get rewarded for confirming those transactions. It's such an intrinsic part of the network. And I think a lot of people are yet to realize how much utility the token has within the World Mobile Network. World Mobile Token of transactions generated on the network daily. And also customers of World Mobile are going to be able to hold World Mobile tokens in the wallet that is created when they sign up to the service. and holding that will give you like a VIP access. So that might be giving you discounts to our partner services that we, our partner services that we have. So let's say we're working with a content streaming service, you're going to get a discount on your account fees for holding World Mobile Token in your account.
Okay, nice. So yeah, it's not, because it's a token that the price can go up and down. It won't be the only means of payment for people using the network. They can use their local currencies as well. So out in Africa, if someone wants to use the World Mobile Network, they can use their local currency to actually pay for the service then?
Yep. So you'll use like a fiat recharge voucher. So people like you and I might go up to the petrol station, or as you call it, the garage, and buy a recharge voucher for a prepaid service. It's going to be the same sort of thing. And then the token is going to be used to pay for all of the network fees.
Nice. And sometimes we see the token gives governance. Are World Mobile going that direction? Will token holders have governance, or how does that work?
So we are looking at doing something with governance. I can't speak too much on it right now because it's finding the right fit for what a governance token would do, and making sure that whatever governance protocol that we introduce actually benefits our users of the network as well, and that change in protocols aren't just for the benefit of token holders, but for everyone who participates in the network.
Yeah, I am a fan of when holding a token, you have a say in the network, but sometimes projects focus on solely being a governance token, and that doesn't always end well as well, because if the only utility of the token is governance, then that doesn't work as well. So it's good to hear you're focusing on the actual utility of it first, and governance might come later, but it's not the sole focus of the token.
Currently, no.
Great.
Currently, not in the foreseeable future. The token is going to remain a utility token.
Okay, and I suppose it's obvious for most people, the token is on the Cardano network. It's a Cardano native asset. But on the actual mainnet, so when you guys roll out your own mainnet, when everything starts going through the World Mobile Network, how will that work? Like, Cardano has cheap fees, but if you're putting every transaction through, they start to add up as well. So will you guys be an L2? For anyone else, it's a layer 2 solution where Cardano will be the main, you'd roll up all transactions to Cardano, but the more micro transactions would happen at a lower level?
Yeah, so we will be a permission layer 2. And like you've just said, no, we don't want every transaction on the network to incur an ADA fee. So we are working quite closely with the team at IOHK to resolve this. And we will use Cardano as a settlement layer. Great.
Yeah, I think some people who are just in Cardano mightn't be familiar with L2, with layer 2s just yet. But as we go forward over the next year, I think we're going to see lots more projects utilizing L2s and then having Cardano as the main settlement layer on that. And this really helps with scalability. And look, we don't want every project running on an L1. An L1 isn't designed to support all these hundreds of applications all putting every transaction through. So it'll be great to see how that works, or when we're going to see you guys actually running it. And hopefully as an Earth Node provider, I'll be part of that as well.
Yep.
On Earth Nodes, then it's 100,000 World Mobile tokens to, I suppose it's kind of the collateral or whatever you want to call it for running the node.
Yeah, this stage is the minimum amount that is required to be staked on the node as per the white paper, but that is also subject to change if voted upon, which we also discussed in the white paper. So again, we're a decentralized network, trying to decentralize as much as we possibly can. So if at a later stage the requirements for minimum amount staked change, it's going to be done via a vote through node operators.
Okay, yeah, I suppose in part it'll depend on the price of WMT as well. If that starts to go really high, there's a big barrier to entry there for any new node providers to come into the network, so it might need to be lowered. And will you guys have things like within Cardano, when you're staking your ADA, there's the saturation level, so you don't want a stake pool going over, currently at 67 million. It changes. Currently around 67 million aid, a stake to a pool, becomes saturated, rewards start to go down after that. Will there be different parameters like that with the Earth nodes?
Yeah, there is going to be a consensus mechanism that will include a saturation level, indeed. We are following the lead of the best proof of stake algorithm, in my opinion, and taking our decisions from Ouroboros. So we will be including that.
On that, any rough timeline on when we will maybe see them, when we'll be able to start spinning them up?
That's a question for Antonio. I'd love to be able to provide you that answer, but that's not for me to answer, unfortunately.
Okay, I had to ask.
That's all right. That's all right. I kind of thought it was coming. I was like, oh, sneak it in. You stuck it in.
It's not just for the community; it's for myself as well. I'm eager to get stuck in.
I know. Look, our dev team is expanding every week. We've got, I think last time I tried to do a head count was about 22 developers working on mainnet and node software. So we've got like a weekly or a weekly and a bi-weekly team call, and everyone there's, oh, I'd like to introduce this guy as a new developer, and this lady's one of our new developers. So the team are working incredibly hard to get all of the node software ready, mainnet ready, and produce the technical information to node operators and get you guys ready to spin up nodes as soon as we can.
Nice. Tokenomics is something I generally look at as well. And from that side, people reserving the Earth node is a great thing. I think it was over 750, maybe 780 Earth nodes reserved at the minute, which means people are essentially locking up, even though they could still move them at any stage like Cardano, but they have them locked up for now that they want to reserve, which is great. That takes a big chunk of the tokens out of the operating market. I seen the private sale unlocks after 9 months, and there is investing, or how does that work? It's still a few months out before that comes into play, but it's just something I was wondering.
No, so there was a lockup period of 9 months for people who participate in the private sale, but we were very selective of who we allowed to participate in the private sale. They were strategic investors and people who had proven that after unlocks, they're not just going to hit the sell at market button. But we have also staggered the release of the private sale tokens, so they're not all going to be released at once. So we've done everything that we can to try and dampen any impact that might have on the market as well over that unlock period.
Okay, that's good to hear. And potentially, I suppose, even some of the private sale might roll into Earth nodes then as well, and put the 100K WMT into Earth nodes at that stage.
Very possible. I can't speak for what they would do, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if that is what they chose to do.
That's great. Actually, just on the Earth nodes, I think it's up to 1,000, is it, that people can have, or that you're looking for at the start? That would be the max number?
I think at this stage, yes, it's 1,000. I know that's definitely maximum amount that can be reserved through the vault. But what happens as the network starts to really expand and World Mobile lives up to its name as a global mobile operator, there may be the requirements for further nodes.
One other thing I nearly forgot to ask was, seen a lot of talk on Twitter over a comment you made about LP staking, and got a lot of people interested.
Yeah. So just working within our existing tokenomics and trying to figure out where this sweet spot is for the APR. We're not a DAO, so don't be expecting, the 78,000% APRs that you get through some of these DAOs. But what I want to do is, what I will be doing is creating liquidity pair staking, which will be done through the vault. I've also seen a little bit of confusion going around throughout the community. The liquidity is not going to be provided through the vault for people who aren't familiar with providing liquidity into pools.
Actually, just before I probably jumped into this without explaining what it was, I just referenced the tweet. So you said about putting out that where we'd be able to provide liquidity on a DEX for the WMT pair. And for anyone who hasn't done it before, when you provide tokens onto a DEX as liquidity, you get back an LP token, which represents your percentage ownership of a liquidity pool. So that's what we're talking about here, actually earning something extra for the LP token. Sorry, I interrupted you there, but I just thought we hadn't actually referenced what the LP token was for anyone who's new.
That's true. But yeah, so what you will be able to do is you will be able to take that liquidity pair token that represents the value of the 2 tokens that you put into that pool. You will hold that within your wallet, and the vault will look at that LP token. It will be able to recognize the amount of World Mobile tokens that you've put in to that pool, and then be rewarded accordingly for that. So the same way that the vault currently scans people's staking keys in their wallet, it's going to be the same sort of mechanism where it scans the LP token, it determines how much World Mobile token has been provided into that pool, and you will be rewarded accordingly. So what I am doing is creating a locked liquidity pair reward incentive and an unlocked liquidity reward incentive. And these rewards will be as close to market expectations as you can on other chains.
Nice.
But like I said before, it's like finding this sweet spot where I'm not oversaturating the supply in the market with the tokens, but also at the same time, like really incentivizing deep liquidity in these pools.
Yeah, you don't want to push up the inflation too much, but as you say, it's trying to find that balance between it. And one other thing, just on, say, for the likes of me or anyone else who has a node reserved, we can't use that WMT. That's essentially has to stay in the wallet that it's in.
That's correct. So you can't use that that set of World Mobile tokens that you're using to reserve a node, because as you know, the moment you move the tokens or the wallet falls below that threshold, you will be disqualified from reserving that node. So this is for something for people who are familiar with how DEXs operate, want to provide liquidity into pools, and at the same time, they want to earn a yield off the liquidity pool token, as well as earn rewards from providing liquidity through the transactions.
Yeah, even if you done a way to work that you could move the 100K, you could suffer impermanent loss, and your 100K WMT mightn't be 100K at the end of when you're staking in the liquidity pool. So anyone who hasn't heard of impermanent loss, I'll discuss that in other videos. But
impermanent loss, before you dive straight into this,
this
is not without risk, but this is for people who are quite familiar with DeFi and DEXs, and we're sort of like pioneering utility for LP tokens, and we're doing it through the vault, which I think is really, really cool.
Yeah, I like that again, custody still remains. Obviously, I trust the smart contract on the DEX with my WMT or ADA or whatever pair I put in, but the LP token still stays with me. I don't have to send that to you guys. You just scan the wallet. I tell you it sits in. So that's a nice feature as well.
Yeah, so that was like one of the most rewarding things for me, I guess, being very familiar with how staking works on other chains. And a lot of the time, if not all of the time, I'm no longer the custodian of that token. I'm putting it into a protocol and entrusting the smart contract. Now the only thing that I'm trusting is that I keep my seed phrase private and my hardware wallet safe.
Exactly. Yeah. When other chains have done this, you take the LP token and then you lock that up in another smart contract, and then they use it for whatever they want. But it's good that the chain of custody stops with you or with the individual that owns it. So just coming up to our time, I'd say now we'll try and wrap it up. Is there anything I've missed in this? Anything else you'd like to put out there for the community?
I don't think there's anything that you've missed. What I would like to put out to the community is just a huge thank you for supporting us over the past year, basically. It has been an amazing experience. There is a lot of really exciting things to come for World Mobile and World Mobile Token. LP staking is one of the first things that I'm working on, but it is certainly not the last. I am going to start working with some other protocols that are built on Cardano to stake World Mobile Token and earn in another native token and vice versa, as well as looking at doing some stuff in the metaverse with some, not just in the Cardano chain, but on things on other chain, creating utility for World Mobile Token there and World Mobile. So there is a lot of exciting stuff to come.
Nice. Great to hear all that is to come as well. Look, I really appreciate your time here today. We'll definitely have to follow up in another month or two, see where things sit then with the token, with the rollout as well. It'd be great to catch up and see how things are progressing. So thanks, Zac. I appreciate it. Everyone that tuned in, thanks for watching. Hopefully you got some value. If you did, please make sure you share this out there. Let people know what's going on with World Mobile. Don't forget to subscribe for the future videos as well. Let me know anything we've missed down below, and we can follow up on that in the next video as well. Talk to you soon, Zac. Everyone, thanks for watching.
If you want to find me next time you want me on, you just message me.
Will do, man. Thank you.
Pleasure. See you, buddy.